Have a day today, dog. Offense, great drive.
Go!
He's up. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome to Training Camp Live, presented by Atlantic Health System.
All right, now training camp has really started. Taking a look at the fans here arriving at One Jets Drive, the players taking the field. This is how you know that training camp is officially here. I know we opened on Saturday or on Wednesday. It is Saturday. It's back together Saturday. EA and I back together in the studio here, presented by Atlantic Health, Training Camp Live. And we have a familiar face in the studio, new to the Jets 360 content team, Quincy Anunwa. Welcome to the dark side.
Q is returned to One Jets Drive.
The dark side, yes, I'm happy to be here, man. I'm excited. I'm a rookie all over again.
What's it like for you this time of year, walking in the building, not having to put on shells right now, pads on Monday, but it must be kind of like a weird feeling because it's kind of nice, but then it's also, you probably miss it.
No, of course I miss it. I think I'm excited to watch these guys, but for me, it's a little weird. You know, I walked in through the wrong side. You know, I walked in through the player side. I almost went into the locker room ready to put my helmet on and stuff, but, you know, I'm excited to watch, excited to observe what's going on today.
All right, so it's going to be a great day because the fans are back. You know they're going to be juiced up, EA. The biggest difference for you, and I want to get your opinion on this, for us, like, the fans just bring the juice, right?
Yeah, I'm so excited about today, but I don't know if I'm going to be quite as excited as that dude in Illinois who won the lottery, but it does feel like we do have...
Won? There was someone who won?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, 1.28 bill?
Yeah,
Oh
not bad.
God.
Not bad,
Yeah.
Greens. I was going to take care of all of us up here and then some. There's the big ticket. Speaking of the lottery, there is Mekhi Becton, the Jets' new right tackle. He came to camp in very good shape, but this is a great day, Ethan. Wednesday, training camp started. The players reported on Tuesday, so you've already had 3 sessions. Fans are here today. You feel the juice. You feel the excitement in the building. And on Monday, it gets a little bit more real because, Q, the pads are coming on.
Oh, yeah, those are the great days, man. I used to love that day, man, because that's where it really gets physical. You're really playing football out there, you know. I think when the pads are off, guys like to cheat a little bit, do a few things that, you know, aren't really in the rules. So once some pads come on, that's when we're really playing football.
Yeah, I spoke to Quincy Williams, and he was saying that he was just talking to the offensive lineman like, hey, Monday, I'll see you on Monday, because
Exactly.
Monday is the first day that pads come on. But right now, the first whistle, we've been talking about it, is that the fans are back here at One Jets Drive. I was actually just seeing on Twitter before we went live here that Max Mitchell, the rookie tackle out of Louisiana, Lafayette, was juicing up the crowd, giving a little arm pump. Quincy, well, first of all, I think that's a rookie thing because last year Elijah Vera Tucker, Michael Carter had to do that. Did you have to do any of that?
No, that wasn't one of my things. But I'm going to be honest with you. The offensive linemen, they have completely different rules. Everything they do, don't think that anybody else does it because those guys, they're different. But they have a lot of fun on the field.
But like, what you got to give, like, no state secrets, but like, what's an example of a different rule here?
Oh, man, I couldn't even tell you. So you walk into the offensive line room, they have a whole board of rules. I'm talking about everything. And if you're a good teammate, you'll walk in and you'll try to join in. A few times I would try to do that, but for the most part, that's their thing.
Yeah, but how about special rules? We're watching the quarterbacks right now, of course, led by number 2, Zach Wilson. The quarterbacks got special rules all over the place, especially in training camp because they're wearing those red jerseys. You got to keep those guys clean.
Exactly.
So, Quincy, let me ask you this. From a player's perspective, when you know the fans are in the stands, do you do anything different in practice? Because I'm sure, like, you want to give a show, but you also don't want to. You want to stay in your lane a little bit, make sure you're getting your job done.
Yeah, I think honestly that's the time when you really become a performer. You know, I like to enjoy being out there. I hope one-on-ones are today because that's when you can really just go out there and show your skills. I think this is the first sign of you showing that you're ready for the lights. You know, I think a lot of guys go out there and they think it's just a regular day, and it's not. You know, this is a day where the fans are here. They're excited to see you. You got to put on a show. You know, you're a performer.
All right, so the fans are back. Caroline Hendershot out with the fans right now at practice. Let's hear from Caroline. Caroline, good morning. How is it out there? I'm sure, first of all, great temperature, no?
Let me tell you, it is perfect temperature for football weather, but happy back together Saturday, everybody. It feels like Christmas morning to me. Some fans were here as early as 6:30 this morning, so that energy is palpable on the field right now. And Ethan, like you were saying, rookie Max Mitchell did go by the fans and absolutely juiced them up. It was really great to see.
All right, Caroline, great. I'm sure it feels like Christmas because last Christmas I think you spent in Florida, right? This is not New York Christmas, Caroline.
How do you remember
That's
that?
correct. It was. I'm used to the sunshine Christmas. You're right.
Yeah, that's right. No white Christmas for Caroline. Caroline, thanks a lot. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with you shortly. But here's the deal. Jets fans are out here on Saturday. The next time that Jets fans can be back out seeing this team practice, that's next Saturday, the green and white practice, because the open practice days sold like hotcakes, right? So if we take a look at some of the important dates that are coming up for the New York Jets, you obviously have the green and white practice next Saturday, August 6th. Then you have 2 practices with the Atlanta Falcons, the August 19th and August 20th. Then the Jets have a practice with the Giants as well later on in their training camp slate. But Quincy, I'm looking at this right here, and I see the joint practices with the Falcons. You had joint practices against Washington in Washington.
In Richmond.
In Richmond, Virginia. We were both there. What is the biggest difference between a joint practice and a regular practice like this?
Yeah, I would say, like I said before, there's levels to you getting ready for the lights. So when you have a joint practice, that's another level of you getting ready to just go out there and perform. I think having that challenge against somebody else that knows nothing about you is amazing. I think the first day of camp is great because you're going one-on-one against somebody that doesn't really know you. Then as you go along, they start to learn your tendencies and stuff. So now that you have that joint practice, you get to go out there and try something new. You know, it's an opportunity for you to go out there and just prove that you're better than this guy, and a lot of those guys are big names, you know, so it's exciting to go out there and play against those guys.
Yeah, I think it's huge because the tempo is taken up a notch. There's no doubt about that. I was talking to Brant Boyer about that. He said the Eagles came here last year and really got after us in terms of punt return, but it made us better. You're going to benefit from that. When Quincy was playing, 4 preseason games. Now you only have 3 preseason games. The Jets are going to have joint practices with Atlanta, 2 sessions, and then the 1 session with the Giants before a very unique Sunday afternoon preseason concluder there against the Giants.
Yeah, that feels like a real dress rehearsal, even though the 3rd preseason game, I bet you're jealous about that, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Well, but the young guys love to have as many reps as possible,
course,
right?
Yeah. I think as an older guy, I would look forward to only having 3. But as a young guy, you want as many opportunities as possible. You know, you want to be able to show yourself, especially that 4th game is really your game. You know, so I think it's a little bit different, but I'm hoping that the guys go out there and really do their best every practice so that they can kind of make up for that lost game.
EA, I'm curious, you were talking about Brant Boyer. The Jets had joint practices last year with the Eagles and the Packers. The Eagles were here at the Atlantic Health Jets Training Center, and that was really a great experience for that guy right there, Zach Wilson. But for this season, and we're going to talk about Zach Wilson in a couple minutes, what are you just hoping to see out of this team in year 2 against the Falcons, against the Giants that maybe we did not see last year in a joint practice?
Well, I keep on coming back to the word familiarity. This is the 2nd year in the system for these guys. You think about what Zach Wilson had to endure last year. Everything was 10,000 miles per hour. Now things are starting to slow down. C.J. Uzomah talked about this guy specifically, elite arm talent, and everybody's talking about how he's got better command. He's showing more leadership. I just think that the Jets are a young group that is growing up together. So Green Bay was an interesting dynamic last year because you're talking about a perennial contender that you had a couple sessions with while you're learning your systems. Different kind of situation this year because you're playing a team against Atlanta and a team in the Giants. The Giants are kind of where the Jets were last year.
Yeah.
So the Jets are further along than both of those clubs, I would say, right now. So totally different when you're looking in terms of year 2 as opposed to year 1.
That's definitely, I love joint practices because I think that you get to see the temperatures flare a little bit. You get to see a little competitive nature, which for the Jets, the first tentpole event here in terms of practice is Monday with the pads coming on. Yesterday's practice kind of chippy as well, but if you don't make it out to see the New York Jets in training camp, whether that be next Saturday, joint practice, preseason games. Let me tell you about this season. You can take advantage of new ticket mini plan offerings to lock in great lower level seats. Starting at just $120 per game, you can catch 7 or 3 games at MetLife Stadium, plus receive exclusive benefits. For more information and to select your plan, visit nyjets.com/mini plans. All right, so it wouldn't be our first show in the studio without Zach Wilson under our camp spotlight, all right? So, EA, I know it's early. But what's the biggest difference you've seen out of number 2, that guy right there, this time last year to right now?
Well, it's night and day. Robert Saleh, the Jets head coach, who's in his second season as well, said he looks like he's progressing. He's comfortable out there. He's working through his progressions. He's getting the ball out on time. The arm talent, everybody goes back to that. It's undeniable. But when everything clicks around him, he's taking care of business. We saw him, I believe it was the second session, Thursday, under a lot of pressure. And you and I talked about this, Ethan. Maybe last year he'd get stuck in the pocket. We started to see him really move with his feet in terms of picking up yards. If it wasn't there, he'd go through his progressions, and then he'd tuck it and he'd go.
Quincy, what did you see from Zach Wilson in yesterday's practice that maybe caught your eye?
Yeah, I really liked how he was going through progressions in practice. I think one thing you see from young quarterbacks is they stay stuck on that first read. I saw him going through his reads and even going to the check down. That's important, right? Like, I think once that pressure gets in, a lot of guys want to scramble. They want to do things that just don't help the team. So if you're able to find your check down, dump it off to those great backs that we have and make some plays, it's exciting to see.
Man, that's an awesome point about the checkdowns, because
boring football last year?
It's not only that, it's that the Jets have guys who can do damage out of the backfield with those checkdowns. Michael Carter, Ty Johnson, don't forget about him. He had 30-plus receptions. And then Breece Hall has really impressed me early. I know the pads aren't even on yet, but he's a natural pass catcher.
Yeah, you can see that yesterday. Breece Hall just very naturally snagged in a one-handed screen, just like as if it were his daily routine. And the vibes here in Florham Park, extremely positive. And with all the additions on offense, you'd say that the blueprint is there for Zach Wilson to take that next step, a year 2 jump, that sophomore leap. And let me tell you this, CJ Uzomah definitely thinks his quarterback will do that.
Not if, he will, and he has been. He's showing strides already. And yeah, I mean, I don't play quarterback. I don't know the ins and outs of like what they have to deal with on a day-to-day, basis and making that leap from college to the NFL. But I think the game's slowing down for him already, and you can see it in his reads and what he's doing when he's looking off defenders, how he's delivering the ball, the arm position. I mean, he's got. I'm not supposed to probably cuss, but he's got a hell of an arm. So he's going to be able to make the tough throws. It's just a matter of him slowing the game down. I think he's doing a tremendous job already.
CJ Uzomah has very unique insight because last year he was with a year 2 quarterback with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. And we're not comparing Zach Wilson and Joe Burrow, but you see that when you surround your quarterback with playmakers. The Bengals did that last year. Obviously, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have a unique relationship going back to Baton Rouge at LSU. But you think about what the Jets added around Zach Wilson. Up front on the O-line, in the backfield in Breece Hall, tight end and wide receiver. I mean, this is a totally different offense, Quincy.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm excited just for Zach's growth, his mentorship, and his leadership. I think taking multiple trips out with players to go and work with them outside of the facility is huge. I think, you see a lot of guys, they do that, but they don't do it as many times as he did it this year. So on top of just having those players that'll help his growth, I think him taking that next step to be a leader is important to see.
What would you have thought if your quarterback said, hey, we're going to Idaho?
Oh, that would have been interesting, but I think
he played
I
in
would trust him.
Nebraska. You go out there, come on.
Right, I can't say much, but I mean, he was at BYU, so I mean, he was already in Utah. I'm sure he already kind of knows the area, so I would trust that he's going to make sure that we have a good time.
Have you ever been to Idaho?
I have not.
Have you?
No.
I've never been either.
I mean, I love it.
It looked fun.
Maybe we can get the invite next year if he decides
maybe.
to do it.
Yeah.
Q can run some patterns.
Yeah, that's right.
I still
we
got
can
it
go
in me.
golf.
And we can golf with them.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, Corey Davis, just doubling down here on what Quincy mentioned is Corey Davis, who's the veteran receiver of this group, he said that Zach Wilson is a great leader, and he's coming into his own. In the huddle, the guys are saying he's really taken steps from last year, and he's communicating more.
Yeah, and when you take a look at Zach Wilson's stats last season, particularly the final 6 games, you really started to see him take that next step, because this is a look at his first 7 games, 4 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, 10 interceptions. Then you talk about the back half, he hurts his knee. You're talking about 5 touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns, and an interception. I mean, the ratio there is totally different, and you started to see him play a little faster. That's what you want to see as Zach Wilson enters year 2. Real quick, I want to go back to CJ Uzomah, EA. What did you think of the time of the year T-shirt that he reported with? You like it?
Yeah, listen, you got to roll with your quarterback. He said he's my guy. The other thing that I like about Uzomah, he said he lives a couple doors down from Zach, and he plans on going over there and getting some meals from his chef. That is a wise veteran move.
Definitely.
What did you think of the shirt?
Oh, yeah. I think that as a teammate, I think that he did a great job right there. You got to really butter up your quarterback, make him feel good, and then, you might get a few extra passes for that one. So he's smart.
I wonder what Zach thought of it. I'd like to. He was like, yeah, okay, great. It's
him
well done. Well, good execution.
Didn't he ask him for his permission? I think he asked him, hey, what do you think? He said, hey, Dave, do you, man?
All right, look, NFL Network has you covered with insider access across all 32 teams. All-day coverage continues this week inside training camp, only on NFL Network. Again, today is Back Together Saturday. We're here in studio for Training Camp Live, presented by Atlantic Health. Eric Allen, Quincy Enunwa, Ethan Greenberg. Caroline Hendershot will be joined momentarily by Diana Rossini of ESPN.
Sweet.
What do you think of the Guardian caps, Quincy? I've been meaning to ask you this. I know they look a little funny, but this is good for player safety.
Yeah, definitely. Anything that you can add that's going to help those guys, especially in the long term, I'm excited for it. I think it looks a little silly, but I mean, it's just a short-term thing.
Is this weird of me? I think it almost looks like royal, like something like the old wig, like the George Washington wigs.
I could see that. I mean, ultimately, man, player safety, I'm number one on that, so, I'm for it.
How about a Hamilton reference there? I do think, listen, anything for player safety. But with that being said, we just have to adjust ourselves, right? We're just taking a look at it, and then it's going to become normal like anything else after a couple weeks.
And the guys that are wearing aren't really into fashion, so I don't think they're worried about it either.
Yeah,
Speaking of fashion, Q, what do you think about the black helmets?
Yeah, I like the black helmets. I think I'm all for teams going with the black colors, so I like it. I think that it's not traditional Jets, but I think that we're moving towards a different era, and I think if we can win, nobody will really care.
All right, so let's actually go out to the patio to hear from Caroline. Caroline, what's happening?
Hey, Ethan, I'm here with Diana Rossini, NFL insider and reporter. Now, Diana, I know you come to camp every year. It's your first day at camp so far this year. What are you looking at storyline-wise, or are you looking at specific players?
Do we have an hour? Because that's what I need, because I have so much interest in this Jets team, just knowing how much optimism is surrounding the team, just even going back to free agency and the draft, and just really how well this organization did in picking the players and filling up this roster with players that have so much potential. But look, we could talk about all the different parts of this team, yet it's always going to come down to the quarterback, right? And it's always going to be the growth of Zach Wilson. As he moves, they move. And in his second year, everyone's watching to see what type of improvement, what leap is he going to take. And I really commend this coaching staff with how they're instructing him. They aren't putting these big expectations on him. They just want to see the small growth, the small things. And I just think the fact that he took responsibility this offseason to even just change his physical makeup, to get rid of the junk food. We all know how hard that is, right?
Yeah.
But that just shows commitment, maturity, and everything I've heard from talking to his teammates, the leader he is in the locker room, how he is in the meeting rooms, how he is in the huddle. He's maturing, and already they've seen it, already this camp. So I think all signs, point up, but at the same time, there's a realistic idea here in New York that there just needs to be improvement. He doesn't need to go out there and try to win a Super Bowl, even though I know Jets fans would just love that. And maybe it could happen. It could happen.
Well, you talked a little bit about that second-year jump and all of the expectations that come with it, but he has new playmakers added into the fold. What will the Jets look like in the AFC East landscape? Obviously, the Bills have been dominant as of late, but where do they fit in this upcoming season?
That's what's interesting, is they have the opportunity here to really, pick up some steam and make a difference and actually land at the top. All right, so the Buffalo Bills, top to bottom, right, they look really good, and Josh Allen's developed tremendously. You would love to see that kind of growth in Zach Wilson this year, the way we saw Josh take that step in his second year and lead the Bills to the playoffs. So, of course, that's the perfect model. But you never know. We've seen it every year. The teams that we always pick that we think, and I have the Bills winning the Super Bowl, by the way. I feel like I need to be very honest with Jets fans out there that I do have them winning. That means nothing, though. I once said the Bucs weren't going to make the playoffs with Tom Brady as their quarterback, and they won it. So I know nothing when it comes to predictions. With that being said, you look at what Miami's doing, and we're just so unsure with what Tua is, and some similar question marks as well there. And I think that's going to be the challenge of really being able to figure out the identity of this Jets team. And I think they're going to be competitive, and they're going to show a different version of themselves this year, because we saw some spotlight last year. You saw some windows into what they can be. And I think with some of these key players coming back and some of these young guys, I think this could be a year that could have some good success.
Just like Diana said, we did see a little bit of that spotlight last year towards the end of the season, and now we have even more playmakers in the fold. So really, the world is the Jets' oyster, so we'll just wait and see. But thank you, Diana. Back to you guys.
All right, Caroline, appreciate it. Thank you, Diana. You know, if you really heard closely, I think Diana just gave the Buffalo Bills the kiss of death. Did she not? She said she picked the Bucs to miss the playoffs the year Tom went. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, that was a bold prediction right there.
I think Quincy's upset.
I think predictions are awfully tough.
They are tough. They are
Especially
tough.
right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do them.
But also, if you're paying attention really closely in the background, you saw Tevin Coleman on the field. Tevin Coleman is currently on the active NFI roster. Well, yesterday, the Jets officially added linebacker Quan Alexander to the mix. They released Javin White. EA, what does Quan Alexander bring to that linebacker room that you think that the Jets wanted to add?
Well, experience number one. He's 27 years old. He's spent 2 seasons with Robert Saleh in San Francisco. So you're talking about a guy who joins Solomon Thomas, Marcel Harris as former 49ers here with the Jets. But last year, after he came back from injuries, he had a career-high 3.5 sacks. Interesting dynamic at the linebacker position, Q, because we know who the guy is. That's C.J. Mosley. He's your leader, your defense. Quincy Williams, great waiver find last year, highly athletic ball player. I can't wait to see what's next for him. But you add Alexander to the mix. If you're running that 4-3, oftentimes you're going to be playing nickel and sub packages, so you're only playing the 2 linebackers. But he joins a group that includes the aforementioned Harris, who played with Saleh, played under Saleh in San Francisco, and then you have the young linebackers, including Hamza Nasruddin, Jamie Sherwood, and Delshon Phillips, a guy who was very good on special teams.
That's right. The linebackers room definitely gets a little. First of all, I just want to say this about Jamie Sherwood. Remarkable recovery. This guy tore his Achilles or ruptured it late August, the week before the Bengals game, which was on Halloween. Right there, you're taking a look at Quan Alexander and number 9. And Jamie Sherwood didn't miss a snap in terms of training camp, not on the physically unable to perform list. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this guy right here, how quickly he can acclimate from a player's perspective, Quincy. This is a guy hasn't been with the Jets through the spring. How quickly, as a player, do you expect yourself to reacclimate, knowing what EA said? He knows somewhat of the defense.
Yeah, I think I love what the Jets are doing with familiarity. I think having Quincy Williams, Quinnen Williams, I think Quan Alexander, Solomon Thomas, all those guys that kind of know each other, know Coach Saleh, you know, I really appreciate that, because as a team, you really want to have guys that know each other well. That's really going to breed so much success. You know, if I'm going out there, I don't know these guys well, if I don't have any type of relationship with them, it's a lot more difficult to kind of go out there and play the way you want to.
Yeah, the big thing with Quan Alexander is when he's been healthy, he's been a successful player in the National Football League, effective and productive. And the other thing is, in terms of where the Jets are at health point, from a health perspective at this point in camp, very good. They came out of the spring relatively unscathed, and you're just talking about a couple guys right now who are working their way back into practice.
Okay, so let's talk about the cornerbacks here, because the cornerbacks is a position that you could make the argument the Jets revamped that cornerbacks room more than any other position on the team, with the additions of guys like DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner. Robert Saleh said that Sauce and Bryce Hall, they're going to alternate reps until they figure out who they will name as starter across from that guy on your screen in the photo and DJ Reed. The Jets have 10 corners right now on the team, but at the top, when you think about Bryce Hall, DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner, Brandon Echols, Michael Carter, specifically with Sauce and Reed, or Sauce and Hall, Quincy, what's the most difficult part from a player's perspective when you're in a competition with a guy? And, like, is there something that maybe fans don't think about that other than, oh, it's just a competition and it's going to play out?
Yeah, it's a challenge. I think each one of them has something to battle, right? I think Sauce has to battle against Bryce with his experience, you know. So Bryce goes out there, he has that experience, but then Bryce has to battle with Sauce in his draft where he's at in the draft. You know, that's always going to come into play. So I think both of them have those in the back of their head, but they really just have to go out there and play their best ball. I'm excited to see what they do. I saw Bryce Hall make a few plays yesterday. I also saw Sauce make some plays. So I think as long as they just keep competing, you know, the only thing that's going to happen is great things, because that competition is just going to continue to create great plays for them.
And EA, it feels like throughout the spring, Bryce Hall's had a nice spring. I know there's a lot of attention around Sauce Gardner, to Quincy's point, the 4th overall pick, but Bryce Hall has been, first of all, he was very good at PBUs last year. Now, Robert Saleh has said consistently the next step for that room is to turn the ball over, but I feel like you can't sleep on the depth of this room, and feel like you can't really forget about Bryce Hall just because Sauce is in the mix now.
No, you certainly can't. And the next step, you talked about it, it's not only Robert Saleh has said that, but Bryce Hall has said that. The next step for me is actually intercepting the ball. And during the session yesterday, he made a nice play, jumped a route on a pass intended for Denzel Mims. But that's one that I think if you talk to Bryce Hall after practice, he'd say, I got to come down with that. And for the Jets to take the next step defensively, people think of, okay, you got to stop the run. They do have to stop the run, and they have to get after the quarterback, but the takeaway number has to go up. And last year, the Jets had just 7 interceptions. I think the personnel is there for this team to start cashing in on those opportunities in the defensive backfield. We think about Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed. And DJ Reed's another guy familiar with Saleh. Yeah. He played under him in Frisco as well. But, yeah, we should not sleep on Bryce Hall. We should not sleep on Brandon Echols either, because I'll tell you what, when I talked to Jeff Albrecht, he said, I can't wait to see what's next for this guy.
Yeah, Brandon Echols was one of those guys last year who really did have a very nice camp. And to start at an early part of his career as a 6th-round pick, I mean, this is a guy who got valuable reps for the Jets. And Quincy, you know, I'm curious from a receiver's perspective, these guys right here, the cornerbacks, they a little grabby without the pads right now at this point in camp?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
These are the best. These are the best battles, though. You know, when they have no pads on, they start to get that confidence built up, and I love that, because once some pads come on, it's a whole different game. So I want you to get confident right now. I want you to feel like you can use your hands. But as soon as we have them pads on, I'm playing physical, so it's not going to be the same game. And
especially you.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And the way that you played the game, you were probably ready to get after some corners.
I was every time. You know, we used to do the first thing we did when the pads were on, we would do a blocking drill, and so that's where I would set the tone. You know, to let them know how the rest of practice was going to be.
Was there ever a DB that you were like, you know, this guy's like, if you feel comfortable saying who it is, do it. If you don't, there's someone that was a little too grabby and you said, I'm going to block you a little extra today.
Oh, no, honestly, I just came with that mentality against everybody, because I wanted to set the tone and just let everyone know, like, this is how I'm coming today, so just be prepared.
Well, once you became a veteran, did you start talking to the cornerbacks in terms of giving them tips and helping them after plays, even though you got after them during the play?
Oh, of course. I think that's the only way we can get better as a team, is if I'm willing to tell you what you can work on, as well as you can tell me what I can work on.
DJ Reed, I love his energy. And you see him talking to guys like Elijah Moore after each rep and stuff like that. So that's going to be one of the fun battles to see, DJ Reed against the Jets receivers. But this is how we're going to wrap up. So typically cover 4, a fun segment here on Training Camp Live, presented by Atlantic Health. We're bringing back in Caroline. Let me set the stage here, all right? I figured everyone's ready. So on report day, everyone makes a big deal about the outfits. Braxton Berrios, not so much about the outfit, about the haircut, the bleach cut, right? The buzz bleach cut. And actually, Caroline, you grabbed him off of practice yesterday because you had to know what the deal was, what the story was. What did he tell you?
Listen, guys, I have been dying to know. I know all of you have too, of the thought process behind the hair. I asked Braxton after practice, and he said, last year I had the long flow, but it was going to take too long to grow it out for camp this year, so I decided to do something that I had been wanting to do for a while now, and so he bleached his hair. And I was like, Braxton, looks good. You should keep it. And he was like, you know, I think I might. So we might be seeing a lot of this lately.
Hold on, though. You have a theory on the bleached hair.
You do have a theory.
I do.
Can you let us know?
I do have a theory. Let me tell you my theory. if everyone has been paying attention to social media, Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie are shooting the movie Barbie right now as we speak in California. Ryan Gosling had to bleach his hair for the movie, and I think Braxton saw Ryan Gosling and said, you know, Ryan looks pretty good with bleached hair. I think I would look pretty good, and then he bleached his hair.
Quincy,
That's my theory. I'm sticking to it.
I want to know what Quincy thinks of your theory.
Maybe he's trying to get a role in the sequel, so who knows?
Quincy's on board with the theory.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a little fun, okay? We were curious what Braxton Berrios' haircut would look like on some of his teammates, all right? So let's start off with his best buddy, right? Zach Wilson with the bleach cut. This is not a good look. I'm sorry, right? This is...
I don't think that one works.
Yeah, I don't...
That doesn't even look blonde. Like, Zach's hair is already blonde.
No.
That almost looks like it's got a pink or red shade
Yeah,
there.
you know, maybe the red jersey that Zach is wearing kind of brings it out a little bit, but okay, so we're 0 for 1 here. Not a great look. Okay. Number 2, the head coach of the New York Jets gets a haircut. He gets some hair addition.
Man, I'm afraid somebody's going to show that to Salah and we're going to get in trouble.
You think Salah thinks he looks bad here? Self-awareness is key, right? I mean, it's not a great look for Robert Salah, but you know, this next guy, it's a mix of the best, you know, because Braxton Berrios had the haircut. You talk about outfits. Well, Michael Clemens didn't really have an outfit. Here he is, Michael Clemens, shirtless, with Braxton Berrios' haircut. I will say, this is the best look out of the 3.
Yeah, I missed that he came in like
I
that.
think he looks good.
Yeah, what would you do if you saw your teammate walk in, no shirt, a rookie?
Yeah, a rookie.
A rookie, that's
yeah,
right.
Yeah. He might have a few duties when he gets into the facility.
EA, what's your thought on that?
I'd be afraid to give him any duties. Because Michael Clemens is a big guy.
Yeah, I want Quincy to meet Michael Clemens, and I need to see that. I need to see the interaction there.
But I'll tell you what, Clemens looks pretty good.
He does look pretty good.
He can pull it off.
That's right.
Not everybody can pull off that look.
Definitely not.
Oh, we have one more. I didn't know this. Okay, I'm a little nervous. I'm thinking it's going to be someone on set here.
Yeah, no. Oh boy.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Wow, that doesn't.
This might be my favorite. This might be my favorite
I
of
think
all,
this is
of
my
all
favorite
3 we've
too.
seen.
That doesn't work, I don't think.
I think it worked. I think you should do it.
I don't think that guy can pull it off.
I think you should do it. Oh man. Wait, can we see that one more time? Yeah.
If the Jets, I'll say this, if the Jets start.
And wait, the photo is just perfect, by the way. The photo is so good for the Photoshop.
That's a high quality photo.
Those are
It looks like you might have been in 8 Mile or something. 8 Mile.
It's never say 80.
Will the real Eric Allen please stand up or sit
no.
down? Oh boy.
I'll be on the 1s and 2s.
Oh, that's a perfect way to end this first installment in studio of Training Camp Live presented by Atlantic Health. Again, if you're not at practice today for Back Together Saturday, we want to see you next week at MetLife Stadium for the green and white practice Saturday, August 6th. You can join under the lights for a night full of football, family, fun. Quincy, I'm sure, loved the green and white practice. You can download your free mobile tickets today, nyjets.com/camp green and white scrimmage, supported by Atlantic Health System, JetBlue, and MetLife. That's all we have time for today. Caroline, thanks for bringing the heat out from outside. EA, Quincy, great to see you both in studio, and we'll be back next week.